Good morning and welcome back to Dale Schafer Law Chats. It's our candid conversations with cannabis industry professionals. And today we have a very special guest. I'm so excited. Truth be told, if you are in the cannabis industry, this woman needs absolutely no introduction because she is very well known. But today, hot on the campaign trail, we have Cannabis Policy Advisor and gubernatorial candidate for the recall election, Jackie McGowan. So excited to have you today. So, as exciting as it is to have you today, today is actually a very somber day, and we recognize and want to take a moment to recognize 9/11. So let's start with Jackie. Where were you on 9/11?
Jackie, where were you on 9/11? I was working for Lehman Brothers in Chicago on 9/11. I lost coworkers in New York that day and heard stories from my coworkers about them fleeing for their safety and passing by, people falling out of the sky and piles of bodies. And then I moved to New York to rebuild the Cantor Fitzgerald desk. Cantor Fitzgerald was hit harder than any other company on Wall Street because the plane hit directly to their floor. And I helped rebuild that desk because it was decimated. And I used to answer the phone for ghosts. I used to answer the phone and yell out, hey, John Smith, line 2. And people would say, John Smith died in 9/11, Jackie. And that happened so many times, in the couple years that I worked at Cantor Fitzgerald. They didn't know if they wanted to resuscitate that desk for that market, but they did, and I helped. And shout out to Cantor Fitzgerald and Lehman Brothers and every Wall Street person that I've ever worked with. This is a big day. We were hit hard on that day, and it still hurts. But we keep moving on. I loved working at Cantor Fitzgerald on 9/11 because every anniversary, the entire market would pretty much shut down and give us all of their business. It was a charity day. Everything that we made went to the family members of those that lost a loved one at Cantor Fitzgerald. And so every firm in Wall Street would give us every single order that they had. So the rest of Wall Street would shut down and give us all their business.
Wow, what a story.
Wow, what a story.
Just following that, I'm trying to think, okay, well, let's talk a little bit about your platform. You have 2 particular topics that you have on your website that are kind of near and dear to our hearts. The first one being cannabis policy, and the other one being criminal justice reform. Let's start with cannabis.
So 5 years ago, we voted to legalize cannabis, and we have not had that implemented yet. And so day one, I will be issuing 3 executive orders, eliminating the cultivation tax, lowering the excise tax to 10%, pending an LAO analysis of whether or not I can reduce it even further, and declaring cannabis an agricultural product. And that's just the starting point.
Okay. Let's move on to criminal justice. And I know that this is near and dear to not only your heart, but Dale's heart. So, Dad, do you have any specific questions about criminal justice? You want to take this one?
I know that Dale made promises to prisoners. When he served 5 years in prison for growing 99 plants. Dale is my attorney. For anyone that doesn't know, Dale is my campaign attorney. Dale is my friend. Heather and Dale have lifted me up and helped me so much throughout this process. And everyone in the world should use them for everything. I don't know what those promises are or were, and I am excited to hear about that, Dale.
Okay. When I did get released from prison, it was obvious to me that the war on drugs was a misguided attempt to fatten the wallets of people and not really to help anyone using drugs. And I also learned some hard lessons about when you put people in confinement, how long is it before they become institutionalized and you make them real criminals? So within that balance, I told the guys I'd have a platform at some point to speak about stopping the war on drugs from a criminal justice standpoint and turning it over to the medical community, but really looking for people we as a society should identify as being of concern from a public safety standpoint, people who will hurt you, people who will steal, lie, and cheat you. We should be cognizant of them and we should grab them tightly by the collar and make sure they convince us they're not going to do it again. The rest of this is prohibitionary politics and it needs to stop. But people buy into it a great deal. And transforming the war on drugs has been what I've been involved in for over 20 years. As you may know, 97, my wife at the time, Molly, was diagnosed with cancer. So we got drug into the cannabis industry, whether I liked it or not. And coming out of it, as a physician, she did recommendations. We got targeted and we took the wrath of the government for the war on drugs. I literally took me 3 years to grow more than 100 plants. But once you grow 100 plants, the judge's hands are tied. You have to go to prison for 5 years. And if it's 1,000 plants, you have to go to prison for 10 years. So the reality of that and the disconnect of what you're trying to accomplish, it hits you right in the face when you look around. There's a lot of people sitting next to you in prison who suffered the same fate. And even worse, I've talked to some women whose boyfriends or husbands were the kingpins and they had nothing to offer because they were just around feeding these guys. They heard stuff, but the people who did it bargained away their sentences, and women that got 5 and 10 year sentences and their significant others got, 36 months is another reoccurring theme. The target for punishment is clearly misguided. And over my career, I've represented police officers, and I'm proud to say that. I like police. They have a need. But I've also been inside law enforcement politics, and it's ugly. And they fight for their position. And I know that we need police to go out there and face those that would do harm to others. And sometimes you have to use force. But when it's used and the excuse is, well, I was afraid. Well, if you're only afraid when the person is a large black male or they have a skin color of a certain type, and you're not afraid of somebody like me, which was my experience, then something's wrong. So these are issues I want people to think about from the standpoint of human beings. I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, and our family was devastated by a 5-year federal sentence. And I was fortunate. I was an attorney when I went in. I was an attorney when I was in prison, and I came out an attorney. Molly lost her medical license. So the family support systems were devastated. And we were fortunate because we were well-educated white people with professional licenses. What I was surrounded by were people that were of a darker skin than myself. And they just did not get the same treatment. Their families were devastated the same way mine was, but they weren't going to come out of prison and be able to go back to work at their previous profession. They were going to be thrown right back into the illegal market to make money. Everyone has a hustle, and when you can't feed your kids, you're going to hustle. So the criminal justice system is not the correct place to go after those that we are not afraid of as a society.
I love that. And I'm thinking that there is a connection between the currently existing regulations with the cannabis industry in California right now and that continued cycle with criminal justice. And I'm just wondering if anybody else has an opinion on that or agrees.
Before we go there, Heather,
Yes.
I want to talk about the day that the three of us met,
Okay.
at a High Times event right after Dale got out of prison.
Yeah.
And you both shared your story with me. And I had heard it, like, of course, you know, and I knew Dale was out of prison, and I knew who I was sitting next to that day in that audience. But you made me cry like a baby in that audience, because you shared that you were 17 years old with lupus when your family was ripped away from you, and that being sick, you then had to care for, you know, your siblings after both of your parents were put in prison for growing 99 plants. And I want you to have the mic right now.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's from the perspective of being a kid who doesn't really have as much control. Although I actually was a little bit older than 17, but I was a kid for that, you know, and I was the oldest of 5 children. And the system is broken in so many ways, but it really does not. It was very apparent to me that it was not set up to help people to be, you know, to get them back on the right track. But it was really a money-making operation, and it turned into this this immense struggle to make sure that not only from the home perspective, having my youngest brother being just not even quite 18 at that point in time, and then I actually had my own small child, and I had systemic lupus, and we were trying to cover all the bills at home. We were also trying very hard to make sure that our parents had very basic things like the ability to make phone calls home, you know, once a week or twice a week, so that they could get that little bit of love. And, you know, I'll never forget just like having the reality of Dad is sick, and he actually went in for a tooth issue when he was in prison, and they were just, I mean, it was nothing more than veterinary medicine that they received while he was in there, and he breathed in maybe some particles of tooth or something, and he got a lung infection, but they wouldn't really give him any of the basic over-the-counter medications to, you know, allow him to get through the symptoms. And so it was like $15 for Sudafed or something for, you know, a 1-day supply, and we were footing the bill on that. And so that part was really tough. And what it really meant was that over 5 years, I think my siblings and I really only saw our parents maybe not even a handful of times. And we were a very, very close knit family, because we had just gone through, I mean, back to back. You know, we witnessed 9/11 as a family together. We were raided just a couple weeks after 9/11, when clearly the focus should not have been on, you know, people who were just trying to grow their own medicine. You know what I mean? I mean, they should have been focused on other things. And then a trial and a sentence and 10 years of fighting the government, literally every single day, not knowing what's going to happen, when is this going to happen, at what point in time is our entire world going to be tossed on its head, and are we going to lose absolutely everything? And I rode that with a lot of that on my shoulders for a very long time, just trying to keep everybody together. And I think that's the story that I told you, and it was rough, and you and I were in tears, and I remember it. I think we were at the Cow Palace, if I'm not mistaken, at a High Times event. And it was just, yeah, that was a special day, Jackie. It was a special day. Okay, I forgot. You get me emotion.
All that.
Yeah, emotion.
Can you hear me? I have no idea how hard it was not to cry just now, you know, like, and I can't.
Yeah.
I can't keep telling me I have to put my feelings on a shelf right now, or I won't hit my target. And that's what I have to do. Like, and it hurts to hear that again, you know, it hurt that day when I met you. And that's why I bawled like a baby, and I can't cry today. I have 3 days to go.
Yep.
Oh, you know, and I want to know more details, you know, and what I hate most about being on the campaign trail is how selfish I am. And I have to be, you know, I don't get to ask people how they are anymore. I have, you know, so many minutes in the day, like, and I have to execute so many different things, and I hate it because it's not who I am, you know. I can't stand that I don't know what's going on in my friends' lives right now, you know, like, but I don't have time to investigate. And like, I want to know more about that story, you know? Dale and I went to Coalinga at a city council meeting when they passed the ordinance to sell the prison to ocean grown extracts. And we were, you know, we were really busy at that time, and Dale was rebuilding you know, his law firm. And he, out of nowhere, like at the pool, I think he like busted out a guitar and started playing guitar, you know, and I didn't know he taught guitar, you know, in prison, and I didn't even know he played guitar, and he changed the entire, like, you know, scene that day by doing that, and he brought us all together by playing music, and you know, and then we went to the city council meeting and watched, you know, history change, and watched a prison, you know, turn into a cannabis manufacturing center, and now it's growing weed out where they used to grow food for the prisoners. It's pretty cool. Like, and we were a part of that, you know, and like I'm so grateful that I know the two of you, and I can't tell you how grateful I am for everything that you've done for me in the last, you know, 65 days. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then in a few days, I won't be so selfish anymore.
Well, that leads us into this is activism. I mean, this campaign is activism. We're trying to make change. So where do we go, Jackie? What's next?
I mean, I'm running for something, you know. I've just crammed a 2-year campaign into 68 days, and it's been maddening, you know. And I can't believe how much I've learned. But I'm forever changed. I am a politician now. I don't know, you know, where this road is going. I just know that it's going somewhere, and it might be Congress. It might be, you know, running for governor in 2022. It you know, eventually leading to, you know, me having a bigger microphone, I hope, you know, because I've been completely silenced during this process, you know, but I've issued 29 press releases. 2 of them got picked up out of 29. And I've done at least 15 interviews that have made the cutting room floor. I was in a hotel with a Fox News reporter just 2 days ago, and he's in town from New York covering the election, and he didn't care to talk to me. And
So
I thought, wow,
real.
I'm in third place right now, you guys.
I know.
We did this in
know.
3 polls. We are in third place, and so I'm finishing third or higher. You know, I got 3 days to go. I'm gonna go shut a street down right now. That's what I plan on doing. I'm gonna have a spontaneous rally. Like, you know, the more they silence me, the more authentic I become, the more driven I am. You know, I swear, I tell people, I think I was bit by a spider in the middle of the night, like, you know, 65 days ago, and I have like superhuman powers. I don't even know where they came from, but like, I don't need food or sleep anymore. I just get up and go. You know, I've had like 4 people ask me if I'm on cocaine. Like, I'm on cannabis, yo.
You're on adrenaline.
Kidding me? I am on adrenaline, and yeah.
Let me give you this lesson that I learned in 97, when the doctors told us that Molly had cancer. You jump into a stream, and you know that there's no safe place to go. You just have to get through the day. It was clear that we've been smoking pot for years, so let's not play games. But in our professions, you couldn't admit that. So it was clear we had to go try to satisfy this new law that we're going to get arrested so that she can smoke weed and not die from the treatment for cancer. And little do we know, the next thing we know, the cops are at her house. And now you can't just pretend like it's just us. And so the lesson is that you jumped into a stream. For whatever reason, you decided it was time for you to jump in. You'll bob along. Sometimes you'll be gasping for air. Sometimes you think, man, I got something to hold on. This is feeling sweet. And it won't last long, but you got to learn. from every bit of it. It's impossible to know which part of this chapter is going to become famous in somebody's eyes and which part will just be disgusting to you. I can't tell you, but I see you on a journey and your eyes are open, your brain's turned on, you're trying to learn, your compassion's being turned into something that is going to be the next chapter of your life. I did not understand that I would be in front of courts, that I would be in front of juries, that I'd be in front of state and federal prosecutors and at the Capitol and at different city councils and board of supervisors arguing that somebody who's sick and smoking weed does not need the wrath of the government. Why? And what I learned from asking those questions and being kicked numerous times in the teeth as I went by is that you just have to be stoic and stand up and continue to ask the hard questions. And you're doing that. So you close down the street, girl, and make sure you got time to call me. And if you need bail money, we'll have to, you know, kind of pass the hat around.
I might just.
Sorry, I had to unmute you. Wait, unmute. I muted you. Okay, there we go. Sorry.
Am I muted? Okay.
Now we're good.
I might just have to get arrested just to break through this oppression, you guys.
I mean, that might make better.
Whatever. You know what? We're gonna have fun. This has been the hardest thing I've ever done in my entire life, and I don't even know where the strength is coming from. You know, like I don't know often like who my friends or enemies are anymore. And you know what? The saddest part of this is that I had friends of every party in the cannabis space, and I don't any longer because I decided to run as a Democrat, and I've lost friends because of that, because they now I know that they ride for their party more than they ride for cannabis. And I didn't know that, you know, and I'm grateful that we had, you know, 6-7 years as friends, but we'll never speak again. There are a lot of people I will never speak to again. And I can't even believe that, but that just, you know, it's opening the door for new stuff and new people and a new, you know, venture. And, you know, if this road leads to Congress, then maybe we'll actually have someone, you know, creating what federal legalization should look like, because they're going to screw it up. Maybe that's where I need to go.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get screwed up. Well,
I'm forever changed. I'm a politician now. And you know, it all is what it is. You know, I wouldn't change any of it. Oh, but my God, if God had given me a preview of what I was going to endure, there's no way I would have done this. And I really wanted to come out of this inspiring women all over the world, you know, to run for office. And now I don't know, you know, I would have to really assess how strong they are, you know, and if they're not as strong as me, like you don't do it, especially if you're going to cram it to your campaign into, you know, a condensed timeline. My God, it was enough to make, you know, former Republican Congressman Doug Osee have a heart attack. I'm surprised I haven't had one. Ooh, thank you guys.
Well,
you've been there for me. Every
on
step
that,
of the way, you've been there for me.
I would just like to thank you, Jackie, so very much for your time. I know you're on your way to a fundraiser in San Diego for the campaign. So taking the time while you're driving to just speak with us and share your heart. I love you and I'm so proud of you. And we've just got a couple days to go. So we keep riding this and see where we end up. But you know, you all heard it first. This is it. She's a politician for life. So thank you very, very much, Jackie McGowan. Is there anything you want to leave us with? You're muted, honey. It was me. I muted you. Not yet. Jackie, you're muted. There we go.
I just want to say that I love you two so much. Thank you for riding with me. We ride this wave together. I don't know where this wave is crashing. Let's go figure it out.
All right, Jackie McGowan. Thank you so much.